Cats, cats, cats! Hi, I'm Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I'm the Magic the Gathering content creating equivalent of discussing fetishes within your favourite fictional fantasy canon. Do you think furries still exist, considering there's like loads of like anthropomorphic minotaur people and stuff?
Do you think that minotaurs have a fetish where they dress up as smooth-skinned humans? What's the opposite of a furry?
A fleshy. Look, I'm more of a dog man through and through. I love my Dachshund Bruce, and I grew up around Neapolitan and Bull Mastiffs. But for some reason, Wizards of the Coast and Magic as a whole doesn't really like dogs. There is a growing trend towards giving us puppies and good doggos recently, but for the longest of time, Isamaru was the best boy we ever had. And unfortunately, he's kinda shit. And the tribe is even split within the game, with the latest good pupper being a wolf, and the last fun doggo being a hound. Wizards, you are doing myself and every dog owner a disservice with this wolf-hound separation. Where is our great dog handler commander that has tribal synergies with both hounds and wolves? Where is it? Where is it? You know who I blame? Is that bloody Gavin Verheyen and his 1,000 copies of Stoneforge Mystic. Cats, on the other hand, have had several competitive staples and interesting cards over the years, from super aggressively costed 1-drops that were, for a time, banned in Modern, not mainly because of its power level, but because Wizards hate fair creature strategies, the bastards. And then we have the 5-drop powerhouses in Standard that caused for some obscene arena board states. Fuck it then, damage. How should we do? Oh, that is so satisfying. Oh god, it's like oral. Cats are cool, they're suave animals that tend to not give a fuck. Dogs are loyal to a silly degree, cats subjugate us, expecting us to work hard for them, the little feline fuckers. You see, the greatest cat card in all of Magic obviously being Cat Jesus, I've been wanting to fuck about with cats in Magic for a while, probably in some form of Death and Taxes variant. So let's work hard for these little guys and make a better deck worse by sticking cats into it. The reason I'm making this video now is because, well, yesterday was International Cat Appreciation Day or some shit, but also I was sent a sign from on high. Holy shit, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? What? Is that a... Oh my god. Is that a fur coat made out of other cats? Is that Judi Dench? Oh fuck me. Why are they weirdly slender and shit? What the fuck? Jason fucking Derulo? What the fuck is going on? Ian, not you too. I don't understand. Why? I don't get it. Like, what the fuck is that? Make it stop. Make it fucking stop. What the fuck? So yeah, that's gotta be a sign, right? It's time. It's time to play Cats and Taxes. Now, originally I wanted to play a green-white variant in Modern, but with Hogak still menacing the format, I thought actually I'd rather shit in my own hands and clap at a funeral than play a brew through a Modern queue right now.
What about that shadowy place?
That's Modern.
You must never go there, Simba.
Playing Legacy Cats also gives me an opportunity to try and force some commander cards that I haven't got around to playing in D&T decks too. This is the list I settled on with the help of my splicers, the highest tier on my Patreon. We chatted through this on one of the weekend calls and came to this, and there's also a Cat Nick Fit list that might make it to the channel soon as well. We need a way to beat this 4-colour nonsense that the metagame of Legacy has become since Ren and 6 came about. Greedy mana bases using lots of fetch lands to play 3 or 4-colour good stuff. We need a hero. It's time for him to rise again. Cat Jesus is back, but he has some friends. We want to play Leonin Arbiter as he's the best cat D&T has to offer, and we want to play some payoff cards for cats. Luckily, in amongst the design mistakes and ruining of Modern that was found in Modern Horizons, we got some new toys for cats. A 3-mana Savannah Lion that literally straps Savannah Lions on top of other cats. What's better than a Cat Jesus? Well, 2 Cat Jesuses obviously, but aside from that, it's a Cat Jesus on fucking roid rage.
Now you're fucking gone!
Leonin Arbiter brings with him some design restrictions. He hurts tutor effects on both sides of the board. For this reason, I want to minimise the chance of the deck falling into its own hate. We can't cut Stoneforge Mystic in its package as it's just too fucking good and gives us too many good tools against decks in the metagame, but instead I cut down to 3 of those, and I cut Recruit of the Guard entirely. This meant I had more space for cats, and I wasn't limiting myself to playing X2s. This means that on top of all that, playing cats gave me an excuse to sleeve up my favourite 3-drop that I usually don't don't play in the deck anymore, which is Brimaz, King of Oreskos. This dude is an army in a can, and next to the King of the Pride, we get huge amounts of power on board very quickly. In theory. In the sideboard we have some more unique cats. We have Leonin Relic Water, which isn't all that spicy. It's a cat we often see in DT lists anyway, as it's a disenchant style effect that is tutable off of Recruiter of the Guard. But I have wanted to try out Stalking Leonin and Arms Collector for a while. Stalking Leonin gives us another removal spell against decks with Gurmags and Marit Lages, although it doesn't stop Truning Nemesis or fully evolved Hex Drinkers, which is a problem now, unfortunately. It is taking up a Council's Judgment slot, so it proves weaker against problematic non-creature permanents, but we can also Violet in. It isn't taxed by Thalia, it can attack and hold a sword, and it can also kill an Emrakul if we're willing to sack six permanents to do so. Arms Collector is a 4-mana flash creature that stops people from drawing multiple cards. It's for Brainstorm and Jace decks and perhaps against Sylvan Library too. The idea that you flash it in response to a Brainstorm being on the stack, we draw a card, they draw a card, and let's put 2 cards back. Its biggest problem is that it's a 4-mana creature, so early Brainstorms aren't disrupted at all, but it is a considerable body being a 3/4, and it is a cat, and no one expects the Arms Collector. So it's time to give it a shot. And well, that's the deck. It's like an old school D&T list prior to the access of Recruit of the Guard, like a blast from the past, but with more cats. Remember, if you like this video, make sure you click the like button down below. It really helps to tell YouTube that I am worthwhile, and that way when it gains true self-awareness and sentience, it'll keep me around like some kind of bearded house pet, feeding me curried kibble, stroking me, and telling me who's a good fucking boy then. As always, this video is brought to you by channelfireball.com, your #1 source for MTG strategy. They have a fantastic store with singles and sealed product available too. They run the Magic Fests all over the world, and you can sign up to those on cfbevents.com. And if you are signing up to one of these, which you should be, because I fucking love GPs and they're fucking awesome, then make sure you use the code KENOBI when you do so to help support the channel. I will be at GP Birmingham, I'll be at GP Las Vegas, and I will be at GP Bologna later in the year. If you're going to any of those Magic Fests, any of those GPs, drop a comment down below, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you there. Right, once more, unto the breach, my friends, once more. 1 colourless land, mulligan. No coloured sources and no vial, mulligan. We begin round 1 with a mulligan to this 7, which means to put 2 cards back under the London mulligan. So we put back Batterskull and the second Mum. I found myself up against, well, one of Devon Tacker's worst matchups in all honesty, Red Black Reanimator. I can only assume the cat variant won't fare much better. We leave basic land to hide the Caracas to force an all-in on a Grizzled brand to low life, or even in some cases then dumping several cards into my own and naming white, so we can just bounce it with the Caracas and gain a tempo and possibly card and life advantage too. They entomb Grizzy B and reanimate off of a Lotus Petal, and they draw 7 cards down to 5 life. They fell somewhat into my trap, like a mouse being toyed with by a cat. They unmask us, getting rid of Mum, and then pass back discarding Chance of the Spires. We draw Aether Vial. I then proceed to punt myself into oblivion. Caracas is a great card in this matchup. It undoes a lot of the issues that Grizzy B, Iona, and of course Elish Norn can create for our deck. This Caracas might just carry us out of the hole that a mulligan to 5 has put us in. However, I absent-mindedly played the Richard Unported instead. You see, after drawing the Vial, I thought about how I needed to pay the extra mana to get around the chances of the Annex trigger from the pre-game effects, and absent-mindedly just played the Richard Unported without thinking. Fuck! Then, as I'm face-palming so hard, I literally slap my face with my hands like this, that I simply forget to cast my Vial and pass the turn. I then proceed to forget the Chancellor when in play after they've reanimated it isn't just the first spell of every turn, it's every spell you cast. So my first one gets countered by both the triggers, the pre-game and the in-game effect, and then I have the second one countered by the in-game effect. Yep, I lose. GG, Magic is not easy. No lander, mull. All lander, slow interaction, mull. We've mulled to 5 again, and we keep a hand with Plowshares, Surgical, Caracas. This seems pretty decent for a 5. We lead with Caracas in order to be able to play Plowshares and hold off on naming a creature with our Cavern. They faithlessly loot a Grave Titan into the bin from a Lotus Petal, and then cast Unmask targeting us. We Surgical the Grave Titan in response. Got him! Surgical tells us that their hand is just 1 copy of Entomb and 2 copies of Reanimate and no mana sources. This is looking good for us. Unmask takes our Sanctum Prelate. We draw a Wisp, and I consider for a moment putting this Cavern on cat for the meme, but we only play 3 cats in total with double white in their costs. But we play 4 Wisps, so I choose Elemental and I pass. They miss a land drop, which is great, but then naturally we draw our only 2-drop double white Pip Cat in the deck, because Magic fucking hates me. I wish so hard that this was just a Cat Jesus, so badly. They draw and play a Badlands, they cast Dark Ritual. Oh boy. They choose to go for Grizzlebrand and draw 7 cards. This is a smart line to allow them to sculpt their hand. They then Dark Ritual again, cast Entomb, put an Ashen Rider in the yard and animate Dead him. The ETB trigger targets our Caracas to destroy it, which leaves us with an awkward position. If this cavern was just a fucking plains, we could both plough and Caracas here and be in good shape. Instead, we only get to do one of those things before the Caracas is gone. We of course bounce the Grizzlebrand to avoid them gaining 7 next turn, but our mana base is really fucking us here. Truth be told, we only play 9 planes looking at it, and obviously 3 Caracas, because I'm playing the Mutavault and the Cavern in my colourless land slots alongside my Wastelands and my ports. That might be a bit greedy, honestly. We drew Wasteland, which ain't so hot. I decided not to Wasteland because drawing a plains here allows us to reset our Cavern to Cat with our Wisp, and then follow up the following turn with a Water on the Animate Dead. They cast Faithless, attack us, and pass back. We draw Arbiter, which again, because Caverns are elementals, we can't cast. Our mana base and that Cavern choice has fucking ruined this game for us. I decided not to Wasteland again, which is definitely wrong, as they just cast Animate Dead on their turn and get a Grizzlebrand back. We draw another uncastable card of Mother of Runes, and we lose the game. All I have to say is, fuck you, Cavern of Souls. Fuck you. We win the die roll and lead Wasteland into Vial. We do this to protect our only white source from opposing Wastelands. Whilst I know we have Vial, we might want to double spell later down the line, or activate Stoneforge Mystic as well, which needs white mana, so it's often correct to hide your white sources from potential Wastelands out of Loam or Lands decks. Our opponent thought seizes us and respectfully takes the Jesus, because
nobody fucks with the Jesus.
For those of you that aren't in the joke, by the way, or new to the channel perhaps, coming over from Dice to Removal, I call the Arbiter Cat Jesus because he looks like Jesus. And to labour a joke I already made before, he's also white, like most Western depictions of Jesus. We play a Caracas, slam Stoneforge, we grab a Batterskull out of our deck. They ponder, basic island and basic swamp, plus Thoughtseize makes me think this is Storm, and hence why they dislike the sight of a search hater. We play a Wasteland and pass, Brainstorm from them, crack a fetch to transform their hand into pure gas, and Brainstorm again. This is where I get scared. Their hand has been sculpted like putty or clay or human excrement in that one show you went to in downtown Camden back in 1996. Duress as a follow-up, and we make the Batterskull in response so we don't lose it. Vial up to 3, and we draw a Thalia. We cast Thalia, attack for 5, go to end step, and I decide to flicker out their black source in order to minimise their chance of going off with rituals next turn. And they scoop to this.
Perfect.
I have said it once and I will say it again. Flicker Wisp is the best 3-drop ever printed. It is both a solid flying threat and an answer to most questions your opponent can pose to you. Flicker Wisp is the MVP. I keep this sketchy Macabre double King of the Pride hand, Trop Ponder from them. We draw a second Macabre, which is going to make their graveyard combo very difficult to pull off. We play a land and pass. Fetch Brainstorm from them. We draw a 2-drop because it's better to be lucky than to be good, and we cast the Stoneforge and go grab a Batterskull. They go land, pass. We draw Thalia off the top because, you know, I'm good at this game, and we cast her with Caracas protection against things like Decay or Push. We get in for 1, they fetch end of turn, untap, make a land drop, and pass. We draw another runner top deck in the form of Sanctum Prelate, which is a solid card in this matchup. With no other hate on board, we can normally name 2 to stop Ritual, Abrupt Decay, Assassin's Trophy, Echoing Truth, or Marsh Casualties, but with Thalia on board, I like putting her on 4, which stops Empty the Warrens, Past in Flames, Tendrils of Agony, and Massacre as their outs. This means that even a bounce spell or kill spell on Thalia or the Prelate means that they will still struggle to go off properly outside of actually bouncing the Thalia and ad nauseum into more removal spells if they're an ant. In response to the Prelate, they Echo in Truth to Thalia just in case you put it on 2. No land drop from them and a pass. We replay Thalia, nothing from them. We play a Batterskull on end step off of Stoneforge Mystic. Boy, wow, imagine doing that in Modern. Imagine playing against Hogak and getting to make a turn 3 4/4. Fuck. I'm so glad this is banned in Modern. We cast our first King of the Pride.
Hail to the king, baby.
We take them to 5 life, and then they end of turn Chain of Vapor off Thalia again, untap, and they scoop it up. Victory, yes! And I would like to say the majority of that win was the moral support provided by this cat. Now, I know it didn't attack, I know it didn't pump anything, but it's all about style, right? Saffron Olive, another Magic YouTuber with a less refined beard than I, mocked me when I screenshotted this victory on Twitter. Cat Lord looking good on that board, he said. That's the thing, Seth. When it comes to cats, they don't give a fuck about sensible practicality. They're here to groom themselves and look good, buddy.
Come back, hell! How am I looking? I'm looking nice. My hair is nice, my face is nice, my suit is nice.
Cats! We leave planes, they go diamond into Thoughtseize. This appears to be some form of turbo depths. They take Thalia, we resolve a cat Jesus on turn 2. They Thoughtseize us again, miss a land drop and pass back. We play big Thalia and slap them with the Jesus. Nothing from them, we appear to be getting rather lucky here. We play a second cat Jesus, now their fetch land enters tapped if they have one, and they'd have to pay 4 mana to crack it, which seems pretty fucking good for us. It also makes crop rotation and Sylvan Scrying pretty bad too. We attack, taking them to 9. They play a second diamond and a Dark Depths. They must have been sandbagging the Dark Depths for a little while because they ditched another land to the Mox Diamond. They then cast a Vampire Hexmage and make a 2020 Flying Indestructible Rage token. While sandbagging the Dark Depths was most certainly a clever play, and I'll give that to them to play around Wasteland from the D&T deck, I feel a little bit unlucky with them having this exact combination of cards when our current setup basically turns off so much of their deck and so many of their alternative lines. The Liege is tapped, so we can swing for exactly 8 damage, taking them to 1, but Liege sticks around to crack back and kill us. We don't have any flying blockers at all. So what we need to do here is draw one of our 3 Caracas or our 4 Flicker Wisp. Nope, we're dead. Criminally unlucky, and very, very dead. In game 2, we keep a hand with multiple Wastelands and Path. We have brought in some graveyard hate too, as the Turbo Depths now play Hogak. And that's not a joke, by the way. I shit you not, the Turbo Depths now play Hogak. Stitch supply from them, ditching a Hogak to the graveyard. Hogak is a little weak to Caracas, so drawing that would be pretty strong here. We draw and play Stoneforge Mystic, fetching Fire and Ice, which will allow us to kill little creatures to keep Hogak off the board and draw us cards deeper into our deck. Ultimately, this is probably wrong. A Batterskull or a Umazawa's Jitte could gain us life and allow us to actually take a hit from a Marit Lage, allowing us to actually race a Marit Lage. Save 2 Wayfinder grabs them at Thespian stage and they cast a Hogak. We path Hogak and they fail to find another basic, which is interesting. They're only playing 2. They play a stage and pass. We make Fire and Ice in end step, we equip and we swing, and they for some reason choose not to block. We draw a card and we shoot the Wayfinder dead. They play a Vampire Hexmage and pass back, which makes a Dark Depths a lethal threat. Meanwhile, we can fake interaction with our Vial on 3 and white sources up. We draw another fucking land. They block my Stoneforge with Stitch Supply. End of turn, they take the counters off my Vial by sacking their Hexmage, which is a line I didn't expect or see, so that's interesting. I've never seen that before. We decided to take this time to wasteland them off mana, killing the Thespian stage and the Urborg. We do this now so they can't rotate into a Dark Depth and just make a Marit Lage, as we can kill it with the second wasteland. End of turn, they decay my sword. Caracas and an Elvish Reclaimer from them. It's willing to walk 500 miles to give a Marit Lage to you. For people that say Legacy is stale and never changing, show them this video. This shit is wild. Modern Horizons and M20 cards showing up all over the fucking place. I think this is really, really cool, honestly. As much as I joke about how much I dislike like Hogak, for example, I think it's really cool how much new sets are interacting with the older format. Some of the cards are a little bit suspect, Narset and Khan for example, but on the whole it's still pretty cool, right? We take this opportunity to Plowshares the Reclaimer whilst it is summoning sick in order to avoid them finding parts of the combo and to avoid them just casting a Hogak next turn if they cast another green or black creature. We get into the red zone with a Squire and a 2/2 cat land that is also a horse but also a jellyfish. Thoughtseize takes the Vial I didn't cast for no apparent fucking reason, and we see a second member of the Reclaimers. Da 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 da. We draw Cat, Relic, Warder, and there isn't a Diamond or Pithing Needle in sight now. We pass back and port their Forest and upkeep. They sack Caracas and grab a Thespian stage, and then they play a second stage they must have just drawn. Forcing the sack in the upkeep was good for us. It avoids a Lage for a turn because they have to guess which part of the combo they need, and they obviously drew the same part again. Got them. We also attack for 3 because they're tapped out on our turn. In their turn they make an Arbor and I don't port them, but I don't remember why I didn't do this. Of course we continue not to tick up our Vial, praying to draw a Wisp, which is a very good card in the matchup. We then draw a 4-drop answer to Marit Lage in Palace Jailer, which is just a turn too slow. They're going to make Marit Lage in our end step and we can't block or remove it. Literally 1 turn too slow. If we'd drawn it last turn, I could have taken my Vial up to 4 this turn and then we would have got them. They go through the motions, sacking a land to find depths, copying depths for stage, and I just think I'm dead. Something weird happens though. They misclick and we don't see a Marit Lage come into play. They resolve it all and there's no Marit Lage. They sacked a load of lands for nothing. I put a question mark in the chat and they even say that they misclicked. I feel bad for them and it's kind of a dilemma. Should I just scoop to them, as in Paper Magic that wouldn't have happened, right? I actually came back to this bit during editing because this mistake could have been made in paper. What they did upon copying their Dark Depths with their Thespian stage was that they kept or chose to keep the Dark Depths with the counters on it. In order to enact the combo, when you choose the legendary Dark Depths to keep around, you keep around the Thespian stage copy with no ice counters on it. What that means is once the legend rule is checked, and the one with the counters goes to the graveyard, one without counters triggers the clause you see on the card here, and they get a 20/20 out of it. My opponent claims to have misclicked, but it could be that they actually just messed up the combo. It happens. I feel genuinely bad for them. I ask you, the audience, should I have scooped them here? Good sportsmanship and all that, I want to promote that sort of thing. Or is a misclick and a punt just part of the territory? People often beat me online all the time when I punt and misclick and just mess up, right? So it's kind of part of playing a video game or digital version of Magic Online, right? Even Arena you can misclick. I and I are for a long time and eventually I just play on, but let me know down below. What would you have done, and what do you think I should have done? They still have Dark Depths and a stage in play, so it isn't lights out for them. They pass back, we tick our file up to 4 for our jailer, and then we draw a Caracas, which is a solid draw right now. We play Caracas and pass to them. They Thoughtseize us, and we play Palace Jailer in response, and we just jailer the Reclaimer to not lose the jailer to the Thoughtseize. They scoop, probably with no answers to Caracas in hand. They may well be very tilted here. In game 3 they lead Stitcher, no Gak. We play a land and pass back. They play a Satyr Wayfinder, no Gwack. We play our first Cat Jesus. They play one half of the Reclaimers and Wasteland my port. They could attack with Stitcher and it would have just got through and I would take it because it dying and finding a Hogak when we're so far off Palace Jailer would be bad for us, but they don't and they pass. I'll take it. I play our second Cat Jesus. They attack for 6 and we just take it. These Arbiters are effectively stopping them from comboing us to death, so we're just going to take it. The Arbiters are less important and able to block once we have Wisp and Palace Jailer available to deal with a Lage. We cast Wisp, reset our Wasteland to allow us to kill Adepts in response to the sacrifice trigger if they go for the combo, if they just, randomly draw the Dark Depths this turn. They attack for 6 again, we take it this time around again, and they play a Carney Heart Garden to generate a 0/1 plant. We untap and I decide to Jailer a Reclaimer and pass back, drawing a Rest in Peace for turn and a Stalking Leonin off the Monarch trigger.
Hail to the king, baby.
They need a Wasteland and play a Dark Depths. We untap and cast Stalking Leonin as an onboard trick that can kill a Merit Lage as long as they don't randomly have Segia Step in hand prior to combat. I'm planning to cast Rest in Peace after this to shrink the Reclaimer and stop them from being able to play Hogak out of the bin because they won't be able to delve and they won't be able to play it if it's in the bin. But they've seen enough and they scoop it up in response to the Leonin.
Yes!
And now it's time for the Audience Engagement Question of the Week. I will read some of my favourite answers from this question in next week's video. So, the question is, if your life depended on it, would you rather eat a bowl of cat shit or a bowl of dog shit? And yes, you can have some milk with it, you filthy, filthy bastards. Answer in the comment section below, and I want to know why too. That's right, I want you to explain to me why you'd rather eat cat poo-poo than dog doo-doo, and vice versa. Hop to it, you filthy animals. Oh, and of course, before we get back to gameplay, a huge shout out to my patrons. Patreon is the lifeblood by which I can invest my time into making this content full time and spend upwards of 10 hours plus making this silly video, for example. If you enjoy them at all, consider just giving $2 a month to my Patreon in order to support me, the channel, and the show. For less than the cost of a White Claw at your favourite trendy hipster bar for cunts, you can get involved with my Discord where Mark will shitpost incessantly like a madman and no one will know what the fuck he is talking about. On screen right now are some of my largest patrons, my splicers who were involved in the ideas around this deck, and many more that appear on the channel. So what are you waiting for? Give me some money, you sluts. I'm always excited to see a triple Wasteland hand. We play Vial for Plains and they Brainstorm end of turn. This smells like combo to me. Brainstorms are often better with fetch lands, but this end of turn Brainstorm feels like they want to dig quickly, ahead of perhaps a Thalia now that they've seen a basic Plains into Vial start, and they want to set up a combo quickly. Joke's on you, I don't even have a Thalia in my hand because my hand is terrible against Storm. They fetch a Sea and cast another Brainstorm, I untap and Wasteland to reduce their available mana. Then we die. Cabal Ritual, Lion's Eye Diamond, Infernal Tutor, holding priority, cracking both LEDs, one for red and one for black. They get Past in Flames, they cast it, flashbacking their Ritual, then Dark Petition for another Ritual, then Infernal Tutor, and then Tendrils Me for Xaxes. Fun! Sadness is placed upon the stack, and Sadness resolves. We proceed to the picking up my card step, but in response I I weep openly.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
Post-board, my hand is pretty meh, but it has Search It and more on the play. They petal, ponder, and play a fetch afterwards. We untap and slam the Jesus. They manage to crack in response. No gotchas on this day. They miss a land drop. Their hand was incredibly greedy versus Death and Taxes. No landers or one landers need to literally pop off or you're gonna get got. We play second Jesus and slap. The following turn we play King of the Pride. And we get in for 8. Those are some swole jizz. Jizz. I've done this joke before, but I still don't know. I guess Jesus's would suffice. They scoop it up. Game 3, we kept a hand with Surgical and Macabre, so a graveyard combo looks unlikely for them. We go on for several turns, port them off black mana, carefully deploying threats. First a Mum that gets into the red zone, then we wasteland their Badlands, attack with a Mutavore and a Mum, and port them off black again and again. By turn 6, they crack their Petal for black mana. Oh no. Dark Ritual, then a Thoughtseize. We respond by circling the Brainstorm in the bin in order to get a look at their hand and reduce their ability to cantrip after casting a Past in Flames. In reality, they had blue mana up. If they had Brainstorm in hand, they could just cast it, so this was not correct. Also, if they had Brainstorm in hand, they get to hide other parts of their hand anyway into the deck. So, yeah, this probably wasn't right. Their hand is about 1 billion mana, Infernal Tutor and a Massacre. It is amazing what casting one Brainstorm and one Preordain can dig you into when you're a luck sack. Even with the Macabre in my hand to remove Threshold, they'll get it back online anyway and go off hard. I feel a little bit unlucky here that they can just go off from hand and graveyard doesn't even matter. But that's part of Magic. Variance is part of Magic. They make like 1 billion fucking mana. Lion's Eye, Massacre for free, and they tendrils me for Xaxes again. Yeah, fun.
Once cooked, allow the lasagna to stand for 15 minutes before cutting to serve.
We leave basic planes into Aether Var, my favourite opener in all of Magic. They fetch a Volk and play a Delver. We play a land and plough. They attempt to daze and we just pay for it. Their end step we make a Mum, and in our turn we cast a Sword of Fire and Ice. They play a Wrenn and 6 and tick up. Wrenn and 6 is a real problem for conventional D&T. It kills most of our creatures and significantly dampens our wasteland plan. However, some of our cats don't give a fuck about the 1 damage. We violate Brimaz and go to equip a Sword of Fire and Ice to the Lion King himself, and they shit a proverbial brick and they scoop it up. They do not think they can beat this absolute mad lad. Oh man, I love me some Brimaz. We bring a load of removal when I consider bringing in the Najani Adversary of Tyrants, but I decide against it. Ultimately, he's here to grind out Grixis Control, Jund, Nick Fit, and maybe even land style decks. And I genuinely believe this is a legit card to play in the Gideon Ally of Zendikar slot on our board. It helps against Dread of Night and -1/-1 effects with his uptick. He can recur creatures like Revokers, for example, from the graveyard after they've been dealt with and reset them. Yeah, he's just a really good grinding tool, so I think he's actually good enough for standard D&T beyond the sexy cat memes. Turn 2, Wrenn and 6 is an absolute house against us. We can't stick our Thalia here because she would just die without Mum protection. We're going to make a Mother of Runes and they stifle the Vile activation, which is a pretty good tempo play. Then we're going to make it in the end of turn 3 and they bolt it dead instead, which makes our whole game plan very, very slow. I decided not to play Karakas yet as they can play the Wasteland they got back with Wrenn last turn and nuke it. They play a Delver. We attempt to Vile the Stoneforge Mystic to grab Batterskull, which we can make off the Karakas in our turn, but they stifle the Vile again. A lot of the time I think stifling a Vile is just bad, but this tempo play is very, very good. We draw planes and hardcast our Stoneforge as it doesn't die to Wrenn. We are passing back and they could legitimately emblem the Wrenn, and this would give themselves retraceable bolts and stifles. I can't have that happening, so end step, I Violent Wisp to take out the Wrenn for a turn, which also means if the Delver doesn't flip, they don't have removal, we can actually attack and kill the Wrenn. Then the Delver flips. Great. They bolt my Stoneforge Mystic and go in for an attack. This is actually fine by us, it means we can attack and kill Wrenn. I genuinely believe this was not the correct sequencing for that turn. They also play a Goyf. And then they also play a Goyf.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
We untap, play a Karakas and cast a Thalia. We attack in the air and kill Wrenn. They wasteland Karakas, understandably, and play a Hex Drinker and start leveling it. Holy moly, that's going to be a big old unit. They attack, we take it, and we violate a cat at end of turn. We draw a Wisp, pass back, and port them. They play and wasteland our port and dump more mana into leveling their Hex Drinker, then they swing with Delver. We block the Delver and then activate Vial and Wisp out our own Wisp. End of turn it comes back and takes out the Delver, removing all the level up counters from it. God, I love this horrendous looking moth bastard. We draw Mum, which is pretty good, and attack for 6 in the air, taking them to 11. They level up Hex Bastard to a 4/4 and Flunge. We block in order to kill the Hex Drink. The reason I'm happy for a 2-for-1 here is once the next level is hit on the next turn, we're never blocking this again and we're just dead. This does open us up to a blowout from removal whilst Mum is summoning sick, but they let it go, they haven't got removal. With Thalia dead, they cast a 1-mana Ponder and pass. We activate Varl and Upkeep for fun to spook out our opponent. They crack a fetch and then cast a Brainstorm. Got him. Inside the Pokeball was Big Thalia, so she comes in, slowing down their lands and creatures if they have them. They flunge again, and I go for double blocks and a singular block that will trade all of our stuff off except for Big Thalia, which we're going to protect with Mum by going pro green. They stifle the protection, so yeah, Stifle's been pretty good this match, and our boards just trade. Drink comes down and they double level it before passing back. I draw a Wasteland, which is bad here, and we take them off double green. They play Ashok and level Hex Drinker to a protection from instance 4/4. Ashok is actually quite good against conventional D&T with our 6-7 shooters, but we only run 3 here, so joke's on you, motherfucker. They don't bother attacking as Mum will block and give protection. Next turn if they draw a land, their creature gains protection from everything like a mini Progenitus. What we need to do is hope they don't draw the land and swing, so we can Violin Stalking Leonin and exile the attacking 4/4. They won't attack into my Mum, so I need to get Mum killed in order to lure them in, or alternatively, I tap her and upkeep in some weird misclick scenario. I'm basically trying to play some fucking mind games. We go to their turn and I tap to give Mum a pro green in their upkeep. There is a pause. Did they fall for the mind games? Did they miss a land drop? Will they swing and get murdered by Stalking Leonin? All this and more after this quick break. Did you know that I stream on Twitch? No? Well, that's not good. You should know. I stream every single Monday night at 7 PM BST over on twitch.tv/PleasantKenobi, where shit like this goes down. I was down the graveyard back into the Snapcaster, it becomes bad if I draw it. Oh, they took the Emrakul.
Oh no, here it comes.
Oh, okay, right, it's fine. We're going to draw, create Huff and kill them. And even then, Emrakul doesn't kill us. Come on, baby! Come on! Come on! Yes! Yes! Fucking yes! Oh my god! Fucking oh, Kratos never fails! Oh, fuck! Fuck! Fuck, I'm so good! I'm so good at this game! Fuck me! Never did I not have that. I'm also doing impromptu streams at more USA and Australian friendly times. Follow me on Twitter to see when those are happening. I'm at PleasantKenobi over there. I also post memes and take the piss out of people telling me I shouldn't get so political. Fuck Brexit! So head on over, give me a follow on Twitch, come on hang out on stream, and if you really like the cut of my jib, give me a sub to help support the channel. Amazon Prime users have a free sub, so why not give it to your favourite British magic content creator? No, not Merchant. No, not Richard Hagen either. Jesus. I meant me. And now, back to our scheduled programming. They hit a land drop and they level up and kill us. GG. We play a Plains, they play a Flooded Strand. We play a Cavern of Souls on Soldier, so we can play Brimaz and Thalia. We play a Thalia. They wasteland our cavern, get a tropical island, and play a Hex Drinker. We draw everyone's favourite Brainstorm hater. We play a second land, attack the Thalia and pass. They level up twice, committing to this Hex Drinker, attack us for 2. The race is on. We draw Stalking Leonin, play a third land, and play a Stalking Leonin. There's a brief pause as they read him. We attack for 2. They don't attack, they don't want to lose the creature to the Leonin Stalker, and they don't level him either. They kill Thalia with a bolt. As much as I want to flash in this full drop, I decide to wasteland them off their red mana instead and attack them with my 3/3. They level up the Hex Drinker finally, with my Brimaz in play, and they of course don't attack because of the Stalker. We cast Flicker Wisp and we flicker out the Hex Drinker, and we attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage with Brimaz and his Stalking buddy. They go to 5. Hex Drinker comes back into play. They play a Delver and bounce our Brimaz. We untap and just attack. They go for a double block on our Stalker, and thanks to the Plowshares in our hand, we blow them out. They go to 3, and we play a Brimaz. They untap, they cast Ponder. They play Mystery Rainforest, they crack it. They bounce our Brimaz, they bolt themselves, and that's game. I can respect the seppuku at the end there. So we managed to go 3-2 with this weird assortment of D&T staples with cats attached to them, which is fine. I like cats. What did you think? Are you impressed with the meme deck still giving people a run for their money? Arbiter actually being pretty damn useful against all the searching in Legacy, whilst King of the Pride being a complete piece of shit? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did you enjoy the video? What was your favourite part? Let me know. Give the video a like and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget, answer this week's question. Cat poop or dog poop, you sick fuck? I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. Next time you're about to go down to Pound Town on your pant meat, consider that shortly after showering, I might just have, for a short period of time, the cleanest arsehole in the entire world.
Yes!
Ta-ta for now.